Good morning, everyone. So, in this class, I'm going to teach about the 8th standard history, that is, second chapter. So, dear students, do you know about geography? Yes, very good. So, geography is a field of science devoted to the study of the lands, futures, inhabitants, and phenomena of the earth and planet. Yes, the geography it studies about the futures and inhabitants and lands and earth and planets. And geography is the study of place and the relationship between people and their environment. Yes, the geography you study about the relationship between the people and the environment. Yes, and geographic features are naturally created features of the earth. Yes, the geographical features these are naturally and which are created by the naturally, and natural geographic features consist of landforms and ecosystems. So let's see what is physical feature. Yes, it includes water, mountains, and deserts, etc. A feature on Earth's surface that has been formed by nature, for example, trees, mountains, oceans, rivers, and lakes. These are found on Earth's surface and that we call as a features of Earth's. The geographical environment has influenced every country and people in the world, and there is an intimate relationship between human life and the environment. Hence, it is necessary to learn about geographical environment in order to know about human history. And as we know, our India is a subcontinent occupying a huge area in the southern part of the Asian continent. Yes. So, how many continents are there? Yes, there are seven continents: Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, and Australia. In these continents, Asia is the very biggest continent, and India is in the Asia continent. So, India is surrounded by water on three sides and land one side. Therefore, we called it is a peninsula. So let's see more information of geographical features and prehistoric India. So there are 28 states and 8 union territories in India as of 2020 of March. Yes. So in the previous, that is before 2020 March, there are 29 states, but in the March 2020 our Indian government, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh become union territories. That is, in the previous days Jammu and Kashmir it was a state, but our Indian constitution or government, Jammu Kashmir makes a union territories and Ladakh also become a union territories. So you can observe in this picture the states and union territories of India. So let's see, the geographical environment has influenced every country and people in the world, and there is an intimate relationship between human life and the environment. Hence, it is necessary to learn about the geographical environment in order to know about humans' history. So, as we know, India is a subcontinent. Yes, you can see in this picture. So, sky blue color, it shows the, or it indicates the water. Yes, that is Dadra Nagar Haveli, that includes in the Arabian Sea. Yes, in the western side there is a Arabian Sea. If you go to the southern part of the India, that is the Sri Lanka and Lakshadweep, there is a Indian Ocean. And if you go to the eastern side, there is a Bay of Bengal. So India is surrounded by three sides by water, hence it is known as the subcontinent. Yes, and there also we call that a peninsula. And India shares its boundary with the Pakistan. Yes, where is Pakistan? Yes, in the north west side. Yes, there is a Pakistan, and also Afghanistan is there. And in India also shares its boundaries China. Where it is China? Yes, north eastern side, that is China. Yes, so China and Nepal is near the Uttar Pradesh and Bihar state. Yes, and Bhutan, yes, that is near Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. Yes, and Bangladesh, yes, that is near West Bengal, and Myanmar. Yes, so Myanmar is also near Manipur. Yes, so these are the countries, and India shares some boundaries with these countries. And India consists of 28 states and 8 union territories. Yes, and the national capital of region is Delhi. Yes. So India's geographical features comprise the Himalaya mountains. Yes, Himalaya mountains and Indo-Gangetic plain in the north. Yes, you can see the Himalaya mountain range, and the Deccan Plateau and the coastal region of the south. Yes, this is a Deccan Plateau. Yes, and the coastal region of the south. Yes, here you can observe coastal region. Yes, this the red line, it indicates the coastal regions from the Gujarat to the Utkal coast. This is a coastal region. Yes, and the snow-capped mountain in the north includes some of the tallest mountain peak in the world. Yes, here you can observe the highest mountains which are situated in the north side. So Mount Everest is there, and Mount K2 is also there, and they help to preserve the safety and security of India. Yes, and there have been very few institutions on ancient India from the northern Himalaya region. Yes, in the northern part of the India, there are very few wars from the that area, because the northern Himalaya region is very high and no enemy can pass or cross that area. The attacks have been mainly from the northwestern side through the valley of Bolan and the Khyber passes. Yes, that is northwestern, that is the Pakistan and the Afghanistan sides only, because there is a passes. That name is Bolan and Khyber passes. The flat Indo-Gangetic plain are extremely fertile. Yes, so Indo-Gangetic plains are very extremely fertile because so many rivers are flow in that area, and the alluvial soil is very rich in that area. The ancient civilization of Indus Valley and Vedic period flourished here. Yes, because the land of that area is very cultivable, and many battles have been fought from time to time to establish control over this area. because that land is very fertile, and usually the dynasty that established a control over this fertile Cagnetic plain also established empire. So next one, the Narmada river separates India into two parts, that is Malwa Plateau or Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau in the south. Yes, can see this map in your screen. So here Narmada rivers, it divides India into two parts, that is Malwa Plateau or the Central Highlands, another one is Deccan Plateau, the south part. The Mauryas and the Guptas ruled these two areas of ancient times. The Indian coastline, yes, the Indian coastline is vast and stretches over 6,100 kilometers. Yes, you can observe from the uh, Kathiawar coast. Yes, the red line starts from the Gujarat. Yes, yes, Konkana coast, and there are so many cities located in the coastal area. That is Mumbai is there. Yes, Diu Daman is there. Goa is there. Yes, Panji and Mangalore in the Karnataka. Mangalore is there. Yes, next Kerala state is there. Yes, Pondicherry is there. And if you go to the eastern side, that we called Coromandel coast. Yes, here Tamil Nadu, that is Pondicherry is there, Chennai, yes, Andhra Pradesh, that is Visakhapatnam is there, yes, and oh, up to the Orissa, that we called Utkala coast. So it has 6,100 kilometers coastline to the India. The eastern coastline is called the Coromandel coast. Yes, the eastern coastline is known as the Coromandel coast. Yes, yes, that is Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. These states, that side's area is known as the Coromandel coast, whereas the western coastline is referred as Konkana and Malabar coast. Yes, if you go towards the west side, so there are Kerala, Karnataka, and Goa, and Maharashtra and Gujarat. So this side coastline is known as Konkana or Malabar coast. And the numerous ports on this coastline had attracted the Romans from the immemorial. Yes, there are so many ports in Karnataka. Mangalore port is very famous for the trade. Maharashtra, Nauseva port is there. Yes, like this Tuticorin port is there. Yes, Kandla port is there. There are so many port, and on this coastline, the so many ports had attracted the Romans from time of immemorial. Foreign trade was carried on in those days only through sea routes. Yes, as you know, in the 1498, the Vasco da Gama, who who, who invented new sea route to the India. Yes, so as a result, Portstown flourished, resulting in the rise of powerful kingdoms in south like Pandyas, the Cheras, and the Cholas. So, the diversity in Indian geographical environment has also influenced the life of communities living here. Yes, despite the communal diversity, there exists a cultural unity which binds all these diversities. So, as we know, there are 28 states, and each state has their own culture, language, and customs also. Although we are in one country, we have so many traditions is there, language is there, but we are all one. Yes, that is unity in diversity is the essence of our culture. So this is all about the geographical features of India. So there is a video, and I hope all of you understood this. So watch that video, and I hope all of you are very happy with this class.
Physical features of India. India is a country of vast geographical extent with a total area of 3.28 million square kilometer, and she stands as seventh largest country in the world. India accounts for about 2.4% of the total land area of the world. The longitudinal extent of India stretches from 68 degrees 7 minutes east to 97 degrees 25 minutes east, and the latitudinal extent from 8 degrees 4 minutes north to 37 degrees 6 minutes north. Its north-south extent from the northernmost point, Indira Kol, which lies in Kashmir to Kanyakumari, is 3,214 kilometers, while its east-west width from Rann of Kutch to Arunachal Pradesh is 2,933 kilometers. Away from the main land of India, the southernmost point of the country, Indira Point, lies in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and is located at 6 degrees 45 minutes north latitude. India is endowed with most diverse physical features ranging from mightiest Himalayas to low-lying coastal plains. Now, let us have a look on the physical features of India. The Northern Mountain Wall or the Great Himalayas. Himalayas stretch for a distance of 2,400 kilometers from the Indian Gorge in the west to the Brahmaputra Gorge in the east. The width ranges between 200 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh to 500 kilometers in Kashmir. Geographically, Himalayas are divided into Trans-Himalayas, the Great Himalaya or Himadri, the Himachal or the Lesser Himalayas, the Shivaliks and the Purvanchal Hills. Trans-Himalayas. Trans-Himalayas, which are north to the Great Himalayan Range, are called the Tibetan Himalayas because most of these ranges lie in Tibet. The Zanskar, the Ladakh, the Kailash and the Karakoram are the main ranges of the Trans-Himalayan system. The Great Himalaya or the Himadri. This range, lying to the south of Trans-Himalayas, is the northernmost of all the Himalayan ranges and is the loftiest and most continuous mountain range of the world. Himachal or Lesser Himalayas. Himachal or Lesser Himalayas are running almost parallel to the Great Himalayas in the north and the Shivaliks in the south, and the ranges are less hostile and more friendly to human contact. Shivaliks. The Shivaliks comprises the outermost range of Himalayas. Overlooking the Great Plains, this chain of hills runs almost parallel to the Lesser Himalayas for a distance of about 2,400 kilometers from the Porwar Plateau to the Brahmaputra Valley. Purvanchal or Eastern Hills. The Purvanchal or Eastern Hills are called so because they are located in the eastern part of India and run in the shape of a crescent with its convex side pointing towards the west. These hills extend from Arunachal Pradesh in the north to Mizoram in the south. The Great Northern Plains. The Great Plains of North India are formed due to depositional work of three major river systems, namely the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. The plains account for 2,400 kilometers of length and width ranges between 150 to 300 kilometers. Third, the Peninsular Plateau. The plateau of India is roughly triangular in shape with base coinciding with the southern edge of the Great Plain of North India and its apex formed by Kanyakumari in the southern extremity. The boundaries of plateau are surrounded by hill ranges on all the three sides. The Aravallis, the Vindhya, the Bharmar and the Rajmahal hills mark the northern boundary, whereas the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats mark the western and the eastern boundaries respectively. Fourth, the coastal plains. The narrow coastal strip between the edges of the Peninsula Plateau and the coastline of India, running for a distance of about 6,000 kilometers from Run of Kutch in the west to the Ganga-Brahmaputra Delta in the east, is called coastal plains. The two coastal plains meet each other at the southern tip in Kanyakumari. Fifth, the islands. The Indian territory includes a large number of islands, among which the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Lakshadweep Islands are the major island groups. Andamans and Nicobar Islands are located in Bay of Bengal. These islands are composed of 265 big and small islands covering a cumulative area of about 8,249 kilometers. Lakshadweep Islands, located in the Arabian Sea, are basically coral islands. They are a group of 25 islands scattered about 500 kilometers southwest of Kerala coast. Most of the islands have low elevation and do not rise more than 5 meters above sea level. Their topography is flat and relief features such as hills, streams, valleys, etc. are conspicuous by their absence. 6. The Great Indian Desert. The Thar Desert, also known as the Great Indian Desert, is a large arid region in the northwestern part of the Indian subcontinent. It extends from the Satluj River in the north, Aravalli Ranges on the east, Great Run of Kutch in the south, and by the Indus River on the west. By now, you must have witnessed the vast diversity our country exhibits through its physical features over a vast geographical outlay. The varied physical features have a marked effect on the lives of the people and have influenced the evolution of diverse culture in India. Brought to you by Compete India's Jeeto Bharat, a one-stop internet-based interactive coaching for civil services exams. For more information, log on to www.jeetobharat.com.